birthplace of the Bohemian Revolution, from Cowork 591 Studios, we're the Bohemian Reformation, and this is the Steve Brown Art Center Podcast Network with producer Blake Tempus and co-host Dale Rueber. I'm Jim Gillespie, and this is a Jesup News for October 21st, 2024. Tonight we are sponsored by Mickey D's Pizza and Lobster. The Farrells are kind sponsors of this podcast. Mike should be on with us on our 100th show.
That's right.
Tonight we interview Macie Masteller, the CAPS associate working with the Steve Brown Art Center. We talk about how the Republican Party is taking advantage of the hurricanes in this election cycle. We talk about ghost guns. We look at the Jesup News. We look at Major League Baseball and professional football. We talk about musician Matt Farley. Do you know who Matt Farley is?
I know who Chris Farley is.
No.
Not the same
guy. Do you
guy.
know who Matt Farley is?
Nope.
Blake, do you know who Matt Farley is? He is the number one selling artist on Spotify.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
What kind of music?
You name it.
Oh, he does
you
it
name
all?
it.
Oh.
He does it all. I will talk about him tonight.
I'm okay.
Okay. We talk about my dark side. We talk about...
That's not the top of your head, is it? That was bad. That was bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Okay.
We look at upcoming shows. We give you the weekly update of the Steve Brown Arts Center, and we introduce a new staff member of the Steve Brown Arts Center. So let's get it going here. First, we want to introduce Macie Masteller. She is the CAPS associate working with us. And welcome, Macie.
Thank you. Hello.
So Macie, tell us about your family first. Who's your mom and dad, brothers and sisters?
So my dad's Eric Masteller, my mom's Stephanie, and I have two brothers, Parker and Benson, and they're both younger than me.
What grade are you in high school, right?
I'm a senior.
And tell us about CAPS a little bit, if you would.
So CAPS is a program to help students form professional skills. We take a public speaking class every Tuesday that kind of helps us learn how to talk to people, and we work with clients separately outside of school. So it's not really like a school setting. It's kind of to help people get out of the idea that like you have to ask permission to do stuff. You have to have these assignments turned in at a specific time. It's preparing you to work on your own in the business world. So like you leave a lot. You're not always in the classroom. You go spend time with clients one-on-one, and your teacher doesn't know. So it's a lot of your own responsibility.
Okay, we talk about clients. What do you mean by that?
A client for me would be Mr. Gillespie when I work with him through the art center. It's like whatever business you're working with and helping out.
Okay, so are there businesses people have signed up to work with CAPS students?
Exactly, yeah. So it's like a project. Everyone picks their own project, and businesses will reach out, but you can also reach out for yourself and find your own businesses.
What kind of things are the kids doing?
So I know a couple girls that are going to Sumner and helping them build an outdoor playground for school. Two boys are making a new Jesup sign coming in off Dunkerton Road. I'm helping with the art center, and I'm also helping with Winding Creek, do some marketing for them. And then one of the other girls is creating a new logo for her dad's business. Stuff like that.
Okay, so a variety. What does CAPS stand for?
Center for Professional Studies.
Advanced Professional Studies?
Center for Advanced Professional Studies.
Okay, the Center for Advanced Professional Studies. And this is a nationwide program?
Yes, nationwide. Okay. Started in Kansas.
Okay.
So it's bigger in the Midwest, but there's still some outside.
Okay. And how many schools are involved with that?
119.
Oh, that's throughout the whole country. Okay.
Yeah.
So is there anybody around Jesup also doing this sort of thing, or?
Cedar Falls started it, I think, in Iowa, but then around us, Cedar Valley CAPS, we're all kind of grouped in one. Like we meet together, but we have our own outside of. We meet like once a week. We have our own outside. I think Denver does it. Wapsie does it. I think that's it.
Okay.
And then Dunkerton joins
Jesup. Yeah, they come to our class every day.
Okay.
Two girls.
Who's the instructor? Is there an instructor?
Allison Kitch is our instructor, but then overall there's a girl that comes and does all Cedar Valley. Her name's Amy Baker. Ethan does like entire Cedar Falls, so we meet with all of them.
And you know the history of this, how it got started, or somebody had an idea, or?
Yeah, someone had an idea, the founder did, that he wanted to get people out of the classroom. Like that was the idea. They wanted to get people out of class, teach them how to act in the professional world. So he created that in Kansas City, and it was in a school district. It's like Blue Creek, something like that. 5 schools do it up there, and they're a big district. They do CAPS way differently than us, but that's where it started. started and expanded to
Okay.
a lot of places.
So, Macie, how do they grade? Are there grades for this class?
There are grades. We do 6-week evaluations, so every 6 weeks we go and talk with kids individually, and we fill out a form, and then we go over the form with her, and then she decides whether she thinks it's a passing or not passing class. There's no A, B, C, or whatever.
Okay.
So it's most of the time you're passing. Like, it's really not hard to not pass it. So
Right.
And the kids involved with this thinking they'd like to be a professional in the business world, that's their far sight.
yeah, but they do talk a lot that CAPS is for everyone. Like, no matter what you choose to do, CAPS will help you
Okay.
in the long run.
So Macie, let's explain to the audience how you asked the Art Center to get involved with us. What gave you the idea to contact the Art Center, etc.?
Yeah, so I didn't know what I wanted to do for my project, and so I was asking, and Kelly was talking to us at the co-work, and she mentioned the Art Center, and then my aunt Kara also had mentioned the Art Center, so I wanted to get involved with them, and then I reached out to the library because they were doing these art cases, and I was like, oh, maybe I can do something with the Art Center for that, but then I kind of wanted to do more, and Kara had told me that in the past there had been people that helped out, so I asked Kara, and then I got in contact with Mr. Gillespie, and we had a couple of meetings and decided what we wanted to do from there on.
Let's tell the people your plans here. You mentioned first the art shelves at the library. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so the library actually reached out to the CAPS program and asked if they would help find some art cases, and they had the budgets and like the funds for that. So all we had to do, me and another girl, Carly, are going and contacting. We're gonna ask him, and he does custom cabinetry, and he's gonna make a couple of art cases for the library, and then we're gonna fill it with art from the kids at the school, elementary through high school.
That's so cool. I like that a lot. Then you're combining your, forgive me, it's not internship, but your association with Winding Creek with the Arts Center and doing a couple things down there. What are you doing with them down there, Macie?
At Winding Creek, we are going to be doing a podcast with the residents, just talking with them. I'm doing a couple other things too, like a pen pal system with the seniors at Jesup High School, and then the seniors at the assisted living. So it's going to be, they go and meet with them, they write them letters, and at the end, the residents will go to their graduation party.
Oh, cool.
That'll be cool. And then like for Grand March at prom, the girls are going to walk through in their dresses, and then we're doing persuasive speeches for CAPS, and we're going to go pitch our speeches to the residents at the nursing home before we do them in front of our instructor. So just things like that. They're trying to fill up their spots because they have 15 residents there right now, and they have 25 vacancies. So they're trying to fill up their spots a bit more. And
Yeah. Why are you looking at me? Oh, okay. Yeah, I know it's difficult to keep the space. Those people are pretty sharp, though. I hope your kids realize that they have a lot on the wall and a variety of backgrounds and a lot of history.
yeah.
You're also doing a dress-up competition during Halloween in the high school, right? For all the classes,
Yep.
and they would win.
Pizza. Dress pizza.
So a winner from each class. Who's going to judge that, Macie?
That would be me, and I'm going to take pictures and bring it here, and then we'll go over and discuss it, I guess.
All right, cool. No, this isn't my Halloween outfit, Dale. Don't look at me like that. Then December 7th, I think you're going to set up a particular art show, our live podcast for the holiday evening they have. That Saturday, I believe, is. You've got a lot on your plate.
Oh, yeah. I like that, though.
Oh, good.
Keeps
I'm
me
glad
busy.
to hear that.
So you're a senior. Are you looking towards next year? Have anything going or?
A little bit, yeah. I am taking the ACT a week from today, actually.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm going to apply to Iowa and hopefully go there. I'm thinking about marketing, but I haven't fully made that decision yet.
Well, this would be a good background for that.
Yeah,
to
right.
Give
That's
you an
what-
idea if you like it.
Yeah,
because,
that's exactly why I'm doing it.
okay.
When I was still teaching there, 100 years ago, Mr. Flayhardy would do an ACT prep program. Who does the AC prep program now?
Yeah, so I'm actually signed up for that. It's through UNI, and it's like a Zoom call, and it's a professor from UNI.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Things have changed, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Mr. Flaherty was incredible. He could raise their math scores. I mean, I would go by there in the mornings, and he'd have people in there 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning preparing for ACT, and they just swore by it.
Yeah.
The kids did.
That's great.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about CAPS and what you're doing, Macie?
I'd say, I don't know, I really like the CAPS program. Going into it, I was a little skeptical because it did take up a lot of credits, and I don't really know if I want to go into anything super corporate, so I was like, how is this going to help me? But everyone swears by it. I've never heard anybody say that they regret taking it.
Yeah.
So I was like, might as well try. And then we didn't max out. We didn't max capacity this semester. We actually only had 10, and we could fit 16. So that was surprising, but it's nice. I like our small group. And I like near its freedom. It's a lot of freedom, and it's helped me a lot. So.
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would enjoy that. There's a lot of seniors that don't get that opportunity.
Right, yeah.
There's a lot of seniors that would not sit and converse with us like this either. I mean, you're very, I think it's done you a lot of good to express yourself and to be confident talking to people. And,
So Macie, you and I then meet next Wednesday afternoon, I believe. I don't have my calendar in front of me, and we'll talk about a number of things. And we will. Halloween's coming upon us here real fast. That's going to take up a little bit of your time already. Macie, thank you for coming in with us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Very
thank
nice.
you guys.
Yeah.
So
It was nice talking to you.
And when we go to Winding Creek, maybe you'll co-host with us that night.
Yep, thank you.
thank you.
This is the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. We're coming to you live videotape. We're headed toward a live
We're headed
show.
towards live,
Our 100th show
We
is
can do that. One in October and one in December.
Yes.
Right? We ain't afraid.
No,
So-
that's right. I'm excited, but we're coming to you from Cowork 591, beautiful downtown Jesup, across from the park. And,
What's the name of that park?
And I always forget this. The corn. Help me, Dale.
The land of corn.
Land of Corn, the train. I know this. I know this as well as I know my name. The city of New Orleans, it's not.
No, but it's close to.
Yes, yes. We should, while he still walks the earth, we should change the name of that park to the Allen Wright Park is what we should change.
I don't know. He got a street, Did you know they named a street after him?
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, in one of the new streets down in the southwest corner is Wright Street.
Is it really?
Yeah,
How
where they built
cool.
Some new houses. It's just a couple blocks long, but you can find it. It's down there.
Did they do a ribbon cutting ceremony and
Not
everything?
that I recall, but it was written up at the time. So-
Cool. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And he got an honor from Des Moines this fall about driving school bus.
I saw that.
67 years or whatever it's been. It's
The man is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And he called me the other day, and 25 years ago we had a half-size Vietnam Memorial, Vietnam Wall here at Jesup, and we're going to do that again next summer. It's a half-size Vietnam Wall replica. We're going to have it Farmer's Day.
Yeah. Kamala Harris is reaching out to ask for $40 is what she's asking for. Kamala can keep asking.
Yeah. Somebody said that she's raised $1 billion since the convention. So why is she not ahead of, but she had $1 billion to spend. I think she's saving some for that last 2 weeks, the big Saco finish. So
there you go.
But, you ever watch Jimmy Kimmel?
I
every now and then,
every once in a while.
Yeah, he really gives it to Mr. Trump.
To Mr. Trump.
He doesn't have much to say. And Mr. Trump, I think, would like to put Mr. Kimmel in jail if he gets to be president again. That's what he says. So, anyway, politics is getting right down to it. What, 20 days or so?
It is. I tell you, Dale, and that's one of the issues of tonight is the hurricanes down in Florida and the Carolinas and Georgia and Tennessee.
Yeah.
The right-wing branch of the Republican Party, along with Mr. Mr. Trump, and I forget his name. He's related to the great evangelist.
Oh yeah,
Billy Graham.
Billy Graham, yeah, that's his son, because I've seen that guy standing in the background. That looks like Billy Graham, so I thought it might be his son.
That is his son. Well, what they've done is when that happened, as soon as that happened, they started attacking FEMA. It's sort of like the weather. They say there's a 10% chance of it raining in Jesup today. When they say 10% chance of it raining in Jesup, they don't mean there's a 10% chance it's going to rain in Jesup. It's going to rain in 10% of Jesup.
Yeah.
Well, FEMA doesn't know where to go camp. They don't know where the hurricane is going to be. Yeah. But the problem is that the right-wing radio guys like Sean Hannity and what's his name? Levine.
Yeah.
Mark Levine. Yes. Dale Rueber, you left-wing liberal, you. Those guys have just ripped FEMA.
Yeah, a lot of misinformation is causing problems for people.
Well, they've told people that FEMA will take their house if they get money from them.
Yeah.
That is like a loan. FEMA's not. What's FEMA going to do with their house?
Well, yeah, especially with just a pile of rubble, a lot of them anyway. So
and they're also saying that the weathermen can control the weather.
Yes, meteorologists are getting death threats. Because they caused the hurricanes to happen. FEMA guys are getting death threats. People are threatening to shoot the FEMA guys that are down there working to help people, and they get death threats, calls. They're going to kill them because bad information is dangerous. It's not just bad information; it's dangerous.
It is
to people, and because just take one crazy guy to do lots of bad things. So.
Well, and to make matters worse, and I'm not just blaming the House on this. Oh, what's his name? Is it Johnson in the House, the head of the House, the Speaker of the House?
Oh no, it's not Johnson. Yeah, I can picture it.
I know you mean. The Speaker of the House. They're a month away from, about 3 weeks now away from the election. The House has been on vacation for a month. All they got to do is come back and say, send this amount of money down to Georgia and the Carolinas and Florida and Tennessee and help those people.
Yeah.
No, they're sitting their arse at home trying to get reelected.
In the Constitution, spending bills have to come from the House of Representatives, and then they go to the Senate, and if they pass the same bill, then it goes to the President. But the President just can't spend money unless it's already been budgeted to him and he's got it approved already. But for new money, you have to have a bill, and it has to start in the House of Representatives. That's the Constitution.
So the House is run by the Republicans right now, and they won't call them back because they're too worried about getting reelected, because they're too worried about losing the House is what they're worried about.
Yeah, that seems to be the most important thing. And too bad.
And this is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. Dale, give us some good news. What do you got about Jesup?
Nothing happened in Jesup over the last week.
What about the library?
The library's going great guns,
All right.
But do you remember the spice? Cloves, that's right. We talked about you can make a spiced apple or a spiced orange with putting whole cloves in it and make your closet smell nice. Have you got one of those in your closet yet?
I have it. I can remember the spice, but I can't remember the name of the park.
Well, it is kind of a crappy name for a park, I think, but that's what they named it. October 21st at 1 o'clock, that's today. A Woman of No Importance by Sonia Purnell is the untold story of the American spy who helped win World War II. Very interesting book. The exercise group is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every day, 8 in the morning. The Little Tot Story Time is on Thursdays at 10:30 in the morning. Get those kids in the library. Painting with Susan, Tuesday, October 22nd at 1 o'clock.
Oh, that's cool. Down at her studio.
Just for a fun afternoon of painting with local artist Susan Kennicott at her studio, which is at 1350 6th Street in Jesup. And the cost is $25 per person, and bring your own drinks and snacks if you need something while you're painting. And then the movie, Monday 28th, is called The Fabulous Four. And it's a comedy for women, and I think the way explain one of them, they're older women, and one is getting married again, and so the other three are gathering around, and you can imagine they would get into it. So anyway, that's the movie. So that's at the library coming up, and lots of good things in November. I thought I'd tell you a little bit of the 591 co-work this week. On the 23rd, you ought to come down. You can actually hear us do our podcast, probably, if you listen at the door.
There you go. They're more than welcome into the studio.
Yeah, we'll be in a smaller studio, and out here they're going to have a make-and-take trucker/baseball hat event. And so that's from 5 to 7. It's an open house style event, which means to me, you just come in when you want to between 5 and 7 and make your hat and then leave. It's not where you have to be here for 2 hours or anything. And so she said baseball cap, trucker cap, I'm not sure I know the difference, and then the, what would you call it, the full brim hat, clear out like you'd wear fishing or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
She had a different name for them, but I'm assuming that's what she meant. So,
right.
So that's on the 23rd from 5 to 7. Come on in and see Kelly. And then the 24th, the Burritos Express will be here from 11 to 2.
What day is that, Dale?
That's Thursday, the 24th.
Okay.
And then if you want to look ahead, the 29th at Dragon Express, I didn't get down to see them when they were here earlier, but I'd like to maybe give them a try because they're just here 11 to 2 on Tuesday, the 29th. So that kind of fills out the month. A few things going on up at school. Tonight, October 21st, the PTO meets in the lower elementary lunch room at 6 o'clock. And then the 22nd, the middle school, high school fall concert is coming up at 7 o'clock. 25th, the middle school fun night. That's just 7th and 8th graders. So if you have kids in those classes from 6 to 8. And I actually have been to some of those. I guess one of those when they asked the elementary teachers to run the snack bar and this sort of thing and as a group. And so we did it. And I know Vicki Dirks was in charge of monitoring the dance floor during the slow dances. I sold concessions, and I couldn't believe every kid that came up there had a $20 bill. And this is a few years ago now, or $20. But and a lot of it would come up when it's like almost over. They say, I have this much money left, what can I buy? And we'd say, well, just take it home and give it back to your dad. Oh, no, I'm going to do that. So you see how many candy bars or whatever you could buy, and you get rid of all these money. So the 26th on the calendar, all I had was All-State Edition. So I don't know if that's singing or band or what, but so a lot going on. The 29th and 30th in October, and it also goes over to November, they're doing junior college visits. Did you do anything like that?
Miss Kitch does that. Macie was in. I'm sure Macie visited that. What they do is they do a sign up and they take seniors and juniors.
Yeah, it says junior college visits. I'm thinking maybe it's all juniors.
So they take juniors to like Iowa State, and Hawkeye.
Well, the 29th they're going to the University of Iowa, to Coe College and Kirkwood College.
Okay.
And then on the 30th they're going to UNI and Hawkeye and Ward. And then there's also a couple days in November where they're going to other schools also. I didn't write those down. But I think that's a neat idea to get them out. And I know my kids, we took a day and just went with them as parents to visit schools. I think they had a day set aside so the kids could miss school.
Right.
But you were kind of on your own. But this looks like maybe, I don't know, it's a group thing. Okay.
They take a whole bus.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, a couple teachers.
Yeah, but that was interesting. It was a day when the schools were expecting kids to come, and you had the little tours and talked about what you can major in and this sort of thing. And there's something in our wheelhouse. In November, the 15th and 16th is the fall music. And I was going to call to find out what it is, and I did not do that. But
that's the 15th and 16th, huh?
Of November, yeah, Friday, Saturday.
Wow, that's a little late for the year.
Yeah, because but usually it's between football playoffs and start of basketball, so that'd probably be about right if you think about how many weeks it takes for the football playoffs to start.
So it would be right. I believe that would be the end of the first week of girls basketball practice and the beginning of the boys basketball
that's
practice.
when they usually have it, is between the seasons. And I imagine, they'll probably have a spring, but this is probably the last fall one they have in the old gym there on the stage, because hopefully in 2025 they'll be in the auditorium.
Yeah.
So that is coming up. Anyway, that's the news I have for different things. I don't have any city news. I don't know. I see where the city, it was in the minutes, they had like an end load or something out where the big trees are, where you take the big trees you cut down just east of town. There used to be the old dump, and they kind of drove over a tree and racked it up, so they got $3,000 worth of damage.
Oh, no.
Council said to go ahead and fix it. I didn't notice that, so.
Okay.
Some research for Dale here real quick. Baseball hats and trucker cap.
Yeah.
Same thing,
Okay.
but trucker hats are normally mesh on the back.
Ah, okay.
I understand. Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay.
That's the only difference I could find.
Okay. Thank you very much. I did not know that.
Artist Carmadal does a lot with trucker hats.
Okay.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dale.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Speaking of the government, I have a story about my dark side. This is the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network.
Okay.
I told you last week that I had a story about the president of the Arts Center being at war. Well, my dark side came out during that time. Here is what happened. Would have been about 3 weeks ago now. I got a text from a company in Georgia saying that I owed for a speeding ticket that I got in Independence in February of 2021. And if the listeners remember, it was that month the speeding cameras were installed in Independence, Iowa. And I got it in February, and I paid it in March of that cycle. So I paid $100. I was speeding in the school district.
Yeah.
Dale, you'd think as an educator I would have known better.
Well, I know someone that also did that.
Okay.
20 mile an hour zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough to drive 20 miles an hour.
Yeah. And so I thought it was a scam at first, and so I went on Google and I looked this company up, and I saw that it was an actual business, and then I did the Google Earth thing, and I saw their business. It was in Kennesaw County, Georgia. I'm not going to say the name of the company because of litigation. I then called them and got hung up on 3 times as my dark side came out 3 times. Then I called the Kennesaw County Sheriff's Office and said, I'm being harassed by this company. They're saying I owe them money and I would like you to deal with it. And they said, well, we will only deal with your sheriff to our sheriff in that matter. So I called our sheriff's department and they said, I think this has to do with our police department locally. And so they gave me the name of a wonderful officer at the police department that I called. And I explained the situation, and I said that I paid it, and he gave me the number of the company that handled the speed cameras for them. And I said, well, I was not very kind to these people. They probably don't want to talk to me. He said, this is a different number. They'll talk to you. And the lady was very pleasant. The next week I got home, and I had a letter that said I owed the Independence City $125 for that same ticket. And so now the president was very disappointed.
Yeah.
And I went to City Hall in Independence, and the secretary was a little short with me, probably because I was a little short with her. And I said I wanted to talk to the city manager. She said he's not here. Well, I said, have him call me. Oh, he never called me. Well, I was taught by the best. My mother loved to fight. She was good at it, too. Yeah. That's no attack on my mother. She enjoyed fighting for standing up and fighting for what was right. And I find joy in that myself.
Well, sure.
And so the next day, I went to Walmart, bought a $7 bag of candy, and I took it to that lady that I was so short with. But also, I took in a Harpo Marx horn, my lawn chair, and a book that Dale was so kind to loan me. And I said to the secretary, I'd like to speak to the city manager. She said he's not here. I said, that's okay, I'll wait for him. But here's a bag of candy. I'm sorry for being so mean.
Yeah.
Although she started to be happy, she knew that she shouldn't be, and so she took the bag of candy and said thank you and turned away then.
Yeah.
And so I sat my lawn chair up in the middle of City Hall, put the horn by me with the plan of every time somebody came into the City Hall, I was going to honk that Harpo Marx horn and the book to read.
Yeah.
Well, only one person came in, and it was an employee of the City Hall during the first half hour that I was there, but I was getting a lot of reading done, Dale.
Yeah, well, good.
Yeah.
That's a good book.
It is a good book. And so I heard the guy say, well, how are things going, as he walked by the secretary.
Yeah.
So it's a little better than yesterday, I heard her say. Well, half hour in, all of a sudden, the city manager came running out of the back room, and he took me into his office. And very kind man, I must say. I'll say his name. Matthew Schmitz is his name. And then I showed Matthew a copy of the check that I'd written. Had the date, March 8th, 2021. I showed him the back of the check that the company they use had stamped the check on the back. It was paid.
Yeah.
I showed him documentation that they had tried to recash the check a month later. And my bank, and I'll give credit to the bank, it's Jesup Farmers State Bank, wouldn't cash it because they had already cashed it the first time.
Yeah.
When they wouldn't cash it the second time, they said I had insufficient funds in my account. And the hair on the back of my neck, which is the only place I have hair now, Dale, stood up.
Well, we'll take your word for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It stood up, and I said, right here is a copy that shows you cashed that check. And my bank won't cash a check twice.
Yeah.
And to his credit, and I will give him his credit, he apologized over and over again. The police called me and apologized over and over again. And the company that ran the cameras called me. Or not called me, they emailed me and apologized.
Well, that's nice.
It was. And so hopefully next year at this time I don't get another letter.
It'll be 150 by then, probably. So.
It will be.
Yeah.
But to the city manager and the police department and that company, I'd like to say that I really appreciate your apology because that's not something that is easy to do. So
And it's nice to see the system. Everything gets snarled up, but it worked out.
It does.
In the right way.
Yeah.
And when you told me about that second check, I wondered if that was policy of that company to try to do that every now and then, or I don't know. I'm not saying that they did, but it just seemed kind of funny to me. But
it seemed funny, but what I'm guessing, they had to. It had to be the first time they got a piles of checks. I'm guessing.
Oh, because that's when they just started.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
And so as they were going through them, entering, they had to have 3 piles. Ones that they hadn't, or ones that they hadn't entered, ones that they had entered, and insufficient funds.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing they put it in the wrong pile.
Sure.
Is what they did. So, but anyhow, that was taken care of, I'm happy to say.
I'm glad that it worked out well for you.
Yeah.
So I was going to loan you another $100 to pay that second fine.
All right. Well, thank you. This is the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. Blake, I'd like to ask you a favor. Look up Matt Farley Poop Songs on Spotify.
Poop songs?
Poop songs.
Okay.
All right. So Matt Farley is a piano player.
Okay.
And he's a singer. And Blake is looking him up right now. And we're going to pirate him one song here and play a portion of it on the show. Blake, I'm going to ask you to do that, if you can do that for us. But Matt Farley is one of the few artists that can make money on Spotify. Guys like the heirs to Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton and those people, they get like half a cent a song when they play it on Spotify.
Okay. And
Very
people
little.
tune into Spotify to hear music?
Yes.
They do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Spotify plays books, they play us, they play podcasts, they play music.
Okay. And are they on the radio or on the it's all computerized?
It's all computerized.
Okay,
It's a streaming company.
Okay.
Well, Matt Farley has downloaded 24,000 songs to Spotify.
All that he has performed.
He writes songs about potty training.
Yeah.
Everything. Poop. Everything. Did you find it, Blake?
Unfortunately.
You found it. Okay. So, but because he pays, or because he downloads so many, he gets 1/3 of a cent per stream song. But last year, I believe his income was $500,000 on Spotify.
That's a lot of 1/3 cents, isn't it?
It is
Holy
a lot.
cow.
Yeah. But Blake, I would like you to play for Dale and the audience part of Matt Farley's Poop Song. If you would do that. Are you ready?
I think so.
All right, go ahead and all he is a hat.
No, we're not.
We're not signed in. I think they try to knock people away from him because they played like 10 different advertisements in front of him because he's breaking the bank at Spotify.
Because you don't pay to listen to it.
No, it's a free service. You can get, I don't know about Blake, but I have the free service, but I have to listen to ads.
Yeah.
If I pay to listen to it, then I don't have to listen to ads.
Okay. So then they're collecting money from people, then they're paying artists like Matt Farley when people stream his stuff.
Yeah.
Them onto their streamer so that they can show their ads and
Correct.
make money that way. Okay. But they probably don't like coming up with $500,000.
No, they don't. For somebody singing about poop songs and potty training.
Well, those are important things, though.
And here's the cool thing: like he has one song. I forget the writer, but he's a very famous writer. The name of the song is like Dale Rueber, call 319-290-0241. That's the name of the song.
Yeah.
Well, this writer found this song like 10 years after Farley had written, and he called, and Farley had forgot he had wrote the song, and asked this guy to call him. He said, "And your name is who? What?" He's written 24,000 songs.
Isn't that amazing? No, it is very, when you have little kids, you talk about pooping and all this stuff a lot. And then as you get old, with all the other old grandpas, you talk about pooping problems and this and that all over again, So it gets you coming and going. So it's a big thing with the old folks, too. So you never thought you would be discussing those kind of things, but that's how you learn is, kidney stones and problems you have in that area.
How we coming?
We're ready.
All right, go ahead and hit it.
That's 10 seconds.
Wonder how long it took to think of those lyrics,
10 seconds out of a minute and a half.
So a 90-second song. And how many times did he say poop?
Oh, several.
That was if I had to guess, that was probably at least 10.
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
Maybe even 20.
Yeah.
And that song has 6 million plays.
So people play that, you think they have little kids? Is that who they're playing it for? Or?
I'm sure by now he has collected followers.
Yeah.
But potty training wise, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be. And, you wonder, like in preschools and that sort of thing, if the teachers play some of those songs? Or
I wonder.
I personally do not think that could be anything else but satire. So realistically, I have no idea why anyone would actually play it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably satire.
Yeah.
That song had 6 million plays.
6 million.
So what is that? Multiply that, so divide that by...
Oh, I can't do that. Well, 6 million pennies would be how much money, see?
Would that be $600,000?
Is it a third of a cent?
Yeah, a third of a cent.
If you do the penny, then you can divide that by 3 is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
If you're doing it in your head. You have your little calculator there, so.
Look up, I'm talking to the audience now, please. Look up Matt Farley. You can type in anything you want to talk about, and he's got a song about it, Dale.
Okay, so he's more than just a poop man.
He's more than just a poop man.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, so. This is the Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network, and
every time I hear White Christmas in December, I keep thinking I could have written that song. It's just so. If you listen to it's just so simple. You think, man, I could have written that song, but I didn't, of course. But
right.
Just amazing to me that a guy could just make him $500,000 a year with poop songs.
Yeah.
Especially when he just goes poop, 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 poop.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
right. Well, Dale, I know you're a baseball man. This is your favorite time of year. Tell us about that.
This is a wonderful time of year for any kind of sports fan, really. You figure that the high school games are going on Friday nights, and then you have all the college football, the pro football, and the Major League playoffs. Okay. And I have been to 2 high school games, both of them in Johnston, because my granddaughter have a special cheerleading program that she's involved with, so we go to see her do her cheerleading. And Johnston, of course, they have a stadium. I don't know, it holds several thousand, I'm sure. And, they got like 100 kids in the band and 40 cheerleaders and a defensive team, an offensive team, and a special team. I mean, they got like 12 coaches. When they start reading the coaches' names, you think, holy cow, So it's big-time football. But watching the games, I notice how wonderful it is that they kick the ball off, and then they just play football till the quarter ends. Then they have a minute, and then they play the next quarter, and then they have halftime, and the band plays, and the Queen comes out, and the kids in the locker room for 15, and then they come out and they play the third quarter and stop for a minute, and then they play the fourth. And then you go, that Saturday, I'm going to watch the Iowa game and on television. And it used to be, when they first started televising football, this is the way I remember it, is that they wanted the watcher at home to feel like he was there in the stadium, that he was getting the football experience. And so they just had 2 announcers, but the cameras were on the field. The commercials only came when there was a timeout called. And you figure there's at least 3 on each side, which is 6, and then if somebody gets hurt or whatever, a little time in there, which would be plenty as far as I'm concerned. But at halftime, they would give a short recap, and then they would let you watch the marching band for a while and watch the cheerleaders throw the batons and this sort of thing. And so the idea was that to make, you can't make it to the game, but we're going to make it feel like you're at the game as best we can. Well, then as football gets to more and more money, of course, now all the coaches are making millions of dollars, and the players are getting paid and this sort of thing. Television revenue is a big part of college football income, and so the television companies, CBS and Fox, they're paying millions of dollars, sometimes billions of dollars for these long-term contracts, and so they want more commercial. And so I'm watching the Iowa game the Saturday after a Friday high school game, and Iowa scored a touchdown, they kicked extra, they went to commercial, came back, had to kick off, kicked it down there, guy didn't run it back, of course, 5 more minutes of commercial before they played it down. Drives me crazy. I hate this. I complain about it all the time. I can't understand why people watch college pro football. I was in the Big House in Michigan, 110,000 people. Commercial comes on. There's a guy with a red hat. He goes out and stands, and the referee watches him, and you cannot do anything till he goes off. So you got 110,000 people sitting in the stands. The coaches talk to their players, but then, they're done. They have nothing left to say. So the players are standing around. The coaches are standing around. Everybody's waiting for that guy to get off the field. And he does that over and over again because I kept thinking, I'm glad it's not 20 degrees or 20 below zero or whatever, because you're making the game so much longer by being there. So that kind of thing drives you. You say, we need a boycott watching this football until they change. Say, that's never going to happen because it's the money. Yeah. So watching the playoffs. Baseball, they've gone to, we're shortening up this game, and we're putting people on a clock. So the new rules started last year. When the one batter's out, you got 30 seconds to get the next batter in there. The pitcher has 15 seconds to throw that first pitch. Well, he's got 18. Now it was 20. Now it's 18 seconds now. If there's somebody on base, he gets a few extra seconds to throw that pitch. Otherwise, it's either a ball. If the pitcher doesn't throw it, it's a ball. A guy walked the other day. There's 3-2, and the pitcher didn't throw the ball in time, and the guy got first base. And I think he ended up scoring. So it's important. If the batter is supposed to get in the box with at least 8 seconds left in that count, ready to hit, alert to what's going on. If he's not, then he gets a called strike. The time between innings is which is most important to me. Right. Okay. During the regular season, they have 2 minutes from the last out to the first pitch of the next inning, 2 minutes. So they have 2 minutes of commercials, which you can count on. That's it. Postseason is 2 minutes, 55 seconds. They give him an extra 55 seconds, which is still under 3 minutes. And when you think about it, is better than 5. And so the pitcher, then they used to have 8 warm-up pitches. Now they can throw as many as they can get in there in 8 minutes. They don't have to worry about that anymore. The umpire, if the catcher was on third base and the third out was made, he needs to get into the dugout and put on his equipment. The umpire can give him a few extra seconds. Though they say a lot of them don't. They make them hustle. So anyway, watching baseball is so much more enjoyable if you're interested in seeing the game than watching football of any kind because of all the darn commercials. So anyway, I would think that football would start looking at ways of shortening up that game a little bit, but I don't think there's a chance in hell it's going to happen, of course. But
I was watching, I love it would be YouTube television, because on YouTube television on Saturday, it will bring up on your screen, you can bring up on your screen 4 games at one time. It's got your games quartered. Yeah. It is one. and they are the best games of the day. They're not. Forgive me. It's not Ball State versus Kentucky Southern. It is Georgia versus Alabama, Iowa versus Iowa State, Minnesota versus USC. It is wonderful. So if one of those, or two of those, or three of those go to commercial, there's still a game
to watch for you.
On you, and I love that. But here's a neat thing that I was watching. You talked about what did they do during that time. The networks now have, you know how there's a down marker on the sideline.
A what?
A down marker, like
sure.
first down, second down, third down.
Yeah.
Well, the networks have one of those standards with a 20-second clock on it. So like when there's 20 seconds left from the commercial to go off, that clock goes on.
Yeah.
And the whole stadium can look down and know that the game is going to start again. So even the people at the game, are experiencing the television experience.
Yeah. Well, I know the little man in the red hat. At a certain time, he would raise his hand up, letting them know it's getting closer.
Yeah.
It's getting closer. So he did give them a little heads up that it was about time to start playing again. But it just drives me crazy when they commercials and they have one play and then they have more commercials. You know, that is crazy. You know, I just hate it. So anyway, I just thought I'd spout off about that because I think baseball's going in the right direction.
Well, one of our listeners, Paul Yeager, is affected by that on Iowa Public Television. For the girls' game, they have television timeouts at certain times. So even the high school games in the state tournament, boys and girls are affected.
Do the girls have that because they're on public television?
Yeah, but they also have television timeouts.
Okay.
They do. Like to advertise Farm Bureau and the like. Their main sponsor.
Yeah.
Hy-Vee and.
We should talk about the Farm Bureau someday.
Someday. This is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. Thank you, Dale. That was good.
Was that as good as the poop song?
That was probably better than.
Well, I hope so. Yes.
I'd like to talk a little bit about ghost guns, if I would. Our country is experiencing problems with ghost guns. These are firearms that are built by kids.
Yeah.
So like you can buy a handle and a barrel and a firing pin and all of those separately, or you can get the kit and put it together yourself. Or you can build it by those 3D those 3D computers that build things for you. Well, the problem with that is they lack serial numbers, so you cannot trace them, and so they become controversial. You know, I used to go to the gun show with my friend Harold Clayton when he was still alive, and we would go to the McElroy Auditorium. He was a collector of guns, and I would see parts of guns everywhere, and I saw I saw that, and I'd say, Harold, what are they doing? People don't need parts for their gun, and all the people can buy the pieces and assemble it, and they don't have to report it. You know, deer hunting is upon us. I understand shotgun season and the like. I don't understand why someone needs a gun that is not registered. We have over 200 million, 300 million guns in our country. We don't need unregistered guns in our country for people to walk around. The problems with it, it's untraceable. There's a lack of regulation on it.
And the gun people are fighting in court any effort to have a serial number of this sort of thing.
It is. Yeah. They are. You know, it is.
And I don't understand that.
Well, Dale, there's all sorts of reasons for potential misuse of these guns.
I mean,
you know,
why else would you get one?
Yeah. There's no need for it.
And they are responsible for thousands of shootings every year, and it's getting more every year. So.
we are in a society where there's more than enough guns. You know, and like I say, my friend Harold Clayton was a collector. There are people that collect guns. I understand we don't need those. It's not like when I was a kid, going and buying a model car and putting it together.
Yeah.
The argument is it a Second Amendment right to own that gun? I don't think that's a Second Amendment right. To build a gun is not a Second Amendment. It doesn't say to build a gun is a Second Amendment right. So send your hate mail to Dale Rueber, care of.
I can take it.
All right, this is Steve Brown Arts Center Podcast Network. Let's talk a little bit about upcoming events. We've got Tim Kimmerer is going to be out at the Littleton Chatham Historical Society November 1st for Chili Supper, but there is an exciting announcement to go with that.
All right.
On that evening, Tim not only is going to be showing his art and selling his art, but he is also going to be playing his guitar and singing.
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He has songs on YouTube as well, not on Spotify. But on YouTube, and I've listened to his songs on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he has no poop songs.
No poop song.
Yeah.
Well, he's never going to go anywhere in the business without something like that.
He's not going to make a third of a penny, is he? Doing that. That is November 1st. Make sure you get out there to the Littleton Chatham Historical Society. You'll see Dale and Blake and I and maybe Mrs. Rueber as they'll have 4 or 5 different types of chili, and there'll be art upstairs, there'll be music upstairs. I believe they're serving chili from 5:30 till 7, but Tim will be showing his art and playing from 5 till 7.
Okay. I don't remember. They had several different kinds of chili last year when I went out there. So.
Yep. And then we also have our 100th event coming up. Would be I always confuse this. We are in the 21st to 28th. It would be November.
Taping it on the 30th, which
the
is
30th.
It'll be live.
Yeah, it'll be live on the 30th. Live on the 30th, and we will have many special guests that night.
So on the 4th, it would be on where they can look it up.
Yep.
Yeah, on the computer. Yep. Yeah, they can stream it.
That's right.
I got to learn all these new words. Stream it.
Stream. We are still showing Garrett Ficken's art in M's Coffee Shop over in Independence. I'd like you to get in there. You can see his art. Also, you can buy his art in there. I know that a number of paintings have already sold.
That's good.
So they're still there, but when they come down, people will take a hold of them. Garrett is incredible. You get a chance to get in and see his art, do that, please. Plus, I love their sweet rolls over at M's Coffee Shop. We're proud tonight to introduce, and you saw the interview earlier with Macie Masteller. She is our school ambassador, and she is a CAPS associate. And Macie is doing much with Winding Creek, and she's doing much for the Arts Center. She is the niece of Steve Brown Arts Center board member Kara Masteller, and she has a wonderful sense of humor and will fit in fine with us.
And very self-assured.
Yes.
She's not hesitant about speaking up.
That's right. So remember, the Steve Brown Arts Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has a vision for artists, young and old alike, to have the opportunity to better themselves while helping them to build the skills of those around them. The long-range vision, and we cannot forget our long-range vision, is to house a rural artist in residence program for professional and emerging artists in all areas of the arts and the humanities. Artists will be offered accommodations and studio space in exchange for contributions of labor and maintenance of the buildings and grounds around them. If there's somebody out there that wants to build us a house, we would love that.
That'd be a good project for some group at school, wouldn't it?
It would be. Yeah. It would be. If you'd like to donate to the Steve Brown Arts Center or have an idea for the event, go to stevebrownartscenter.org and follow the link. If you have news or would like to sponsor us, email us at jim@stevebrownartscenter.org or call 319-290-0241 and leave a message. I'm Jim Gillespie with Dale Rueber and producer Blake Tempus, and as always, thanks to Kelly Seahas. Kelly is amazing. She's having us She's had us in here a lot of weeks now, almost 100 weeks.
100 weeks, yeah.
Thanks to the audience for bringing these stray dogs into your day. And remember, and we've got someone coming in to sing this song next Wednesday.
Yep.
Remember, each day is about little victories.